giant cat was abandoned at the shelter. Hours later, the unthinkable happens. Samson was a big orange and white cat whose family gave him up to the shelter because they said he couldn't get along with their kids. They said he was distant and hard to get along with, but the shelter staff quickly picked up on something being wrong. Edgar didn't act like the person who dropped him off, so it looked like the person was hiding something. What could have really happened in that house? Was Samson truly the problem? Or had he simply been misunderstood? Stay tuned for today's video on Animals Need Love to find out. The shelter was empty when a man named David walked in. The front desk worker had never seen a cat that big before. The ginger and white cat, which was barely fit in his arms, looked uncomfortable as he looked around at the strange new place. David told the man that he had to give up Samson because the cat didn't get along with his young children. His words about Samson were cold, and he said the cat just wasn't right for their home. The shelter staff had seen a lot of cases like this before. Now it was up to them to decide what would happen to Samson at the shelter. Once David had left, the shelter staff wasted no time in getting to know Samson. Despite his intimidating size, he weighed a solid 21 pounds. The cat was incredibly gentle. Samson wasn't being distant at all. Samson even rubbed up against the first person who came close to him while purring loudly to get attention as soon as he was put down on the floor. The receptionists and helpers were shocked by how nice he was. It didn't make sense. It was clear that Samson loved people, but he had probably been misread or hurt. The staff quickly realized that his behavior might have been caused by the rough treatment he had received in his previous home. They knew they had to find him a better place to live. The shelter launched a social media campaign to find Samson a new home, confident that his size and friendly nature would attract interest. They shared photos of him looking calm and happy, highlighting his thick fur reminiscent of a Maine Coon. The post quickly gained traction, with many people sharing and commenting on the lovable cat. As Lily scrolled through Facebook, Samson's picture caught her eye. Intrigued by his unique appearance and gentle personality, she thought adopting him would be a great companion for her cat, Oliver. She showed the post to her boyfriend, Jake, and they decided to visit the shelter. When they got there, the shelter was busy with people. Samson started purring and nudging Lily's hand right away when he saw her, but she was still careful. Lily fell in love with him right away because he was so loving. Lily and Jake were excited to take Samson home after they put in the paperwork for adoption. Getting Samson as a pet made Lily and Jake very happy. They were eager to make him feel welcome in his new home. As soon as they brought him inside, they made sure to create a comfortable space for him. They set up a soft bed for him in a quiet corner and stocked up on all the essentials: his favorite toys, food, and a scratching post. They also made sure to give him plenty of attention, petting him gently and speaking to him in soothing tones. They understood that he was adjusting to his new life, so they let him take his time to feel at ease. Every day, they spent time with Samson, playing, cuddling, and talking to him, always mindful of his needs. They were patient and loving, helping him adapt to his new environment while making sure he felt safe and cared for. As weeks passed, Lily and Jake settled into a routine with Samson. They loved him deeply, but his behavior started unpredictable. At night, he wandered nervously, fixated on certain spots, and his usual affection was overshadowed by a subtle unease, as if he sensed something unseen. At first, Lily and Jake thought it was just the stress of the move, or his heart condition affecting him more than expected, but things only got worse over the next few days. Samson started to act more and more distant, almost as if he were in a trance. He would roam the house late at night, his large body moving silently through the halls, his eyes fixated on shadows. One evening, After a particularly strange night, Lily noticed something unusual. As she sat in the living room watching TV, she saw Samson stop at the doorway to the basement, where the door creaked slightly, as though pushed by an unseen hand. His ears flattened, and his eyes grew wide as he stared at the door, letting out a low, rumbling growl. That night, as they tried to sleep, the strange behavior continued. Samson paced back and forth in the hallway, his fur standing on end. Then, just as Lily was about to drift off, she heard a soft, distant whispering sound from the hallway. It was faint, but it made the hairs on her arms stand up. She tried to ignore it, but it kept getting louder. She sat up, feeling a chill in the room. And then, she saw it. Through the darkness of the hallway, she saw a faint, ghostly figure standing near the top of the stairs. Samson immediately darted out of the room, his eyes wide with terror, tail puffed up. He ran straight toward the basement door, hissing and growling. Lily, heart racing, followed him. But by the time she reached the door, Samson was no longer hissing. He was eerily still, his eyes locked on the empty, dark space beyond. The whispering stopped abruptly. Lily, trembling, reached for the door handle, but then stopped. Something deep within her told her that opening that door would reveal something she wasn't ready for. Instead, she looked at Samson, who had now dropped to the ground, his body tense, as though waiting for something. "Samson," she whispered, her voice barely audible. To her surprise, the big cat turned his head slightly, his eyes filled with something that seemed almost knowing. Then, just as suddenly as it had started, the tension seemed to fade. The whispering stopped. The air grew still. Lily slowly backed away from the door. "What was that?" she whispered to herself. The next day, as they sat in the living room, trying to make sense of what had happened, the shelter called. It was the last thing Lily expected. "Lily, this is Carla from the shelter. We've been trying to reach you about Samson. We need to tell you something." Carla's voice was tight, nervous. "Is everything okay?" Lily asked, already sensing something was wrong. "We've been looking into his past more, trying to gather any details to help with his adjustment. And we found something. Samson has a history, one we didn't know about before. His previous owner was deeply troubled, and he'd mentioned odd occurrences around the house. The kids, they reported seeing strange things too. Figures, whispers, moving shadows. The owner mentioned that Samson seemed to see things. It's why they gave him up. They thought he might have some sort of sensitivity to things they couldn't understand." Lily's heart skipped a beat. "You mean he sees ghosts?" Carla hesitated. "We think so. It's possible that the house where he lived before was haunted, and Samson, well, he might have been trying to protect them, or maybe he was seeing something else. That could explain his odd behavior here. He might be reacting to something supernatural. We just wanted to let you know so you can be prepared." Lily sat back, staring at the phone in disbelief. "But I thought it was just the stress. I didn't know." "Understandably, but now that we know, we think you should be cautious. He's not just a regular cat. He might be trying to communicate something to you. He might be protecting you." That evening, everything seemed to fall into place. The following day, they decided to do some research about the house. They had lived there for several months now, and despite the beautiful neighborhood and cozy space, they couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Lily, curious, went through old property records, while Jake dug into the history of the house. What they discovered shook them to their core. The house had been built in the late 1800s, and it had changed hands several times over the years. But there was one detail that stood out. The previous owner, an elderly woman named Margaret Weaver, had passed away in the home, and her death was shrouded in mystery. It wasn't a natural death. There had been rumors of strange happenings in the house before she passed. Neighbors had spoken of hearing her voice late at night, even after her death. Some believed she had never truly left the house. Lily's hands trembled as she read more. Jake, listen to this. They say that after Margaret died, her family moved out, but the house was never the same. People who moved in after them reported strange noises. Footsteps in the halls, objects moving on their own, and whispers in the night. And it gets worse. Some said they had seen a shadowy figure walking through the house. Samson had been acting oddly ever since they moved in, but now it all made sense. The ghostly figures, the whispers, the sense of being watched. It wasn't just in their minds. Samson wasn't reacting to stress. He was reacting to the presence of something or someone in the house. The discovery of the house's history hit them hard. They couldn't stay here any longer, not with the growing feeling that the spirit of Margaret Weaver or whatever force lingered in the house was still present. That evening, after another restless night, Lily and Jake made a difficult decision. They couldn't keep living in a place haunted by the past. They would have to move. But there was one thing they knew for sure. They couldn't do it without Samson. The very next day, they started packing, and although they had no idea where they would go, they knew that Samson needed to come with them. He had become not just their pet, but their protector, guiding them through the unseen dangers they hadn't fully understood until now. A few weeks later, they found a new home, a charming house on the edge of town, surrounded by trees and fields. It felt like a fresh start, a place where they could breathe easy again. But even in their new home, they remained vigilant. Samson, the once timid cat, was now more than just a big loving pet. He was a guardian, a silent protector watching over them. As the sun dipped below the horizon each evening, they would watch him closely, noting when his ears perked up or when his gaze shifted toward the shadows. They trusted him completely. That's the end of the story. We've all heard about the special ability some cats have to see things that we can't, and this is one of those stories. How about you? Have you ever encountered a situation where your cat acted in a way that made you wonder if they were sensing something beyond what we can see? Share your stories in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching to the end. If you find our video interesting, please give it a big thumbs up and share it with others. Finally, don't forget to turn on our bell and subscribe to our channel. Animals need love, so you don't miss any of our new videos. Thank you for your support. Wishing you all peace, happiness. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.